Megan Barrick, Manitou, Illinois.
Sue Wheeler, Peoria, Illinois.
Elizabeth Auer from Metamora, Illinois.
I was just there as a spectator. Got to be a habit of coming down, doing exercises. Usually top off all this exercise and everything. Usually I went swimming for 3 or 4 laps. Went to get in the pool, and I always went down the ladder rather than do the big kaboom and belly flop. And next thing I remember, I was at home 6 weeks later.
They saw his head go down, and that's when they jumped in and got him.
One of the lifeguards up in the number 3 chair looked across the pool lap lanes and into the class section and noticed a gentleman who was leaning on the side of the wall.
His head was down and, face down in the pool, floating.
I walked over there as quick as I could, tapped him on his shoulder, asked him if he was okay. No response. His face was purplish blue. So I got in, pulled him back over onto my rescue tube so his face was out of the water.
I ran to the office, said, "Sue, call 911. We got an unresponsive victim in the classroom section of the pool."
By the time I got over there, they had already had him out on a backboard. Knelt down, checked for a pulse, checked for breathing, and he didn't have either of those.
We had to do CPR. We'd never had to do that before. Honestly, that was pretty scary.
Each one of those staff members had a specific role, and they all carried it out.
It just clicked. There was no second thought. I just did my job because that's what we trained to do.
I gave 2 breaths, Megan jumped right in and started compressions. And we started CPR until the AED got hooked up, and then it took over, and then once it said no shock, we resumed CPR.
1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6.
We run through 2 cycles of CPR with the AED on, and it never calls for a shock. So we continue on.
It probably took over 2 minutes before the EMTs got there. They stood over us, they were getting prepared, and then they took over.
I had a heart failure, and the guards at the Riverplex brought me back to life from after being legally dead, I guess.
It was scary, but it was just like how I'd been trained.
I just took it as I was doing my job, just like a nurse or an EMT. If you let your emotions get in the way, it might cause a problem.
Now he's alive, and it's because of quick thinking and wonderful training that these girls had.
Took a dead fish like me, and then he says, "You're one of our success stories." And I almost, brought you to tears.
I think about him every day. I talk about him. I talk to him every time I see him here, and it always brings a tear to my eye.
And he's like, "Hey, Megan." I was like, "Hey, Jerry," and we give each other a hug, and he's like, and every time I see him, he's like, "You guys are my angels." We actually care here,
We love you.
I get a big smile every time I see him. When I can, I'll come out, he'll give me a hug.
Well, he's our hero too, because we watch him now come into this facility and do all the things he needs to do.
It is my job. Yeah, I'm glad we saved it and that he's still alive. But at the same time, I'd like to think any of our other guards would do the same thing.
I saved a life. I mean, how many people can say that? I'd want someone to do that to me if I needed it.
I can't say enough for you girls, the superheroes, and they deserve all the accolades they can get.